Z. I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Nyenga, yeah.
Thank you.
Close, very close. Yeah, so Nyenga. Correct. Yes, I am. Is it Lailit or is it Lalit? I haven't been to India, so it's a country that I was planning on visiting. Have you been to Zimbabwe or have you been down the side?
Shall we start?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay, we are starting. 1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let Me Be, where we explore real stories, real journeys, and the real people shaping the world. Today, we travel to the heart of Southern Africa to Zimbabwe, a country known for its resilience, beauty, and strong entrepreneurial spirit. My guest today is someone who represents all of that and more. She is Karen Nyenga, a determined, hardworking, and goal-oriented leader in Zimbabwe's property industry. As the CEO of Fine and Country Zimbabwe, Karen is not only shaping the real estate landscape, but also raising the standards of how properties are built, managed, and marketed in the country. She actively collaborates with young, qualified, and experienced professionals to build a stronger, more modern, and more inclusive real estate ecosystem. Karen believes in not making excuses but making a difference. And today we get to learn from her vision, her values, and her journey. Karen, welcome to Let Me Be.
Thank you so much for this invitation and an opportunity, Lalit. I really look forward to our time together.
Yeah, would you like to add anything to your bio? Anything you'd like to tell to other people?
I was falling in love with the woman you're describing. So yes, I mean, look, obviously I'm very enthusiastic about what I do. I love what I do. It's been a passion of mine for the past 21, going on to 22 years now. And it's real estate in Zimbabwe, within the region of Africa. And then also because of the fact that I'm with Fine and Country, I have an opportunity to expand my experience to international areas. So UK, Dubai, France, Spain, Portugal, the Americas, Australia. And I also actually did start with real estate in Australia in itself. So the industry is amazing, and what's happening in Zimbabwe is phenomenal. It really is taking shape, and it's requiring great minds, as well as people who are, like you said, resilient, because there's a lot of things that need potentially maybe to change, to actually ensure that the infrastructure is able to sustain, to look at engaging in newer methods so that, we're at par with what's out there, maybe even in India. So let's see how it all goes.
Yeah. So, Karen, can you take us back to a defining moment in your life, something that truly shaped who you are today as a leader?
I think one of the more recent, and I'd say recent, and I'm looking at probably about a decade and a bit ago, so a little over 10 years ago, I met a woman that I consider a phenomenal leader, and she's a quiet leader. So she's somebody who leads in a manner with a very quiet strength. She observes and she understands who she's talking to. So it's not a one solution fits all kind of situation. She really knows and understands who she's talking to and what your strengths are and what your areas of focus should be to get better. I did not say weakness, areas of focus to get better. It was always a way of reframing certain perspectives and narratives, and that's what she taught me even then. I met her at a time where even for myself, I was wondering what my next steps were going to be. And she shed light into my growth. And she said I should never limit myself. And I think a lot of us, we sort of look at ourselves in situational pods and we consider what we have, and what we have may determine what we may become. So if you're a person who's looking at how much money you have, if you have got $100 and somebody comes up and says, oh, let's go for a CEO network, you're like, no, but CEOs deal with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. How do I fit in to something like that, so you're not looking at how potentially you can become a person in a room that has access to hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars because you're limiting yourself with that 100. And in her conversations with me, in her letting me know that I shouldn't limit myself because of what I have, but what I can get and become on the basis of where I'm actually going forward to, it shed off a lot of weight where I may have had prior insecurities and that whole inferiority complex of I do not belong, and you get insecure because of that, and you feel like you're an imposter. I got a voracious appetite to want to read, to want to understand a lot. I'm not saying that, I'm a fundi in all subjects, but you have to be curious as to what's going on in the world. You have to really want to know what's happening in countries that maybe you've never been before. So I still do speak with her, and I speak with her or I talk about her very fondly because in that aspect, that's what led me from being just an agent to being an owner of a franchise, which is part of a global network. And I can actually sit at tables and discuss so many things. Those other CEOs and key leaders, I do not hesitate to open my mouth and contribute towards shaping conversations.
Yeah, like you mentioned that, you love reading. So would you mind sharing few books,
Ooh. Well, there's quite a lot. The most recent book, actually, part of the book club that I'm in, is The Mountain Is You. I don't know if you've ever read that one before. It actually is quite a confronting book if you're really going to look at it, because again, it makes you introspect into all of the moments where you have actually set your own limitations. So, you know how we're like, something, go over the mountain or go around the mountain, and that's a problem. And we look at a problem as a mountain because we think it's insurmountable. We cannot overcome it. It's bigger than who we are. But sometimes the problem is not actually an external matter. It's an internal matter. Your problem might be time management. And because of time, you never get anywhere because you're not ever going to be anywhere. At times, you're missing everything, missing opportunities. You may be a person who procrastinates. And because you procrastinate, again, things just don't happen the way that, you were expecting certain things. But you have to get into habit. And getting into a discipline or a habit is a very difficult thing. Dealing with yourself is probably one of the most difficult things than dealing with other people, and it's so easy for me to sit there and say, oh, Lalit, what you should do is 1, 2, 3, but how about I start with me, so that's the book and the pretext on that particular book. And before that, I read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. There's been so many books that I've read in the past year, and some that I need to read again. Even The Alchemist, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's so many books, and one very small one, actually, I think you can read it. If you're a very fast reader, you can probably read it in less than an hour. Who Moved My Cheese? And that's about change management. I don't know if you've ever read it before, but it's about change management and how we can adapt or not adapt to certain change, and especially when you're looking and you're dealing in business and you're dealing with people, and that's a huge resource for me in my business because I deal with people, whether it's my clients or my employees and my teammates. Not everything stays the same. So whenever we're introducing something, it's how it's received, and so I learn continually.
Thank you for sharing, Karen. The next question is there a philosophy, a belief, or a principle, that guides you, your life and the work?
Mm-hmm. So I am a Christian, and in that, I would say that all of my principles are guided by that. I'm guided by the Bible. I'm guided by the Christian tenets in that. So I want to do good for people, not just so that they can do good by me. So even if somebody doesn't do good by me, I would like to say that as a human, and as a person with those kind of beliefs, I still am a person who's going to be able to continue to do good and good right. So one of the things is, one of my favorite verses is, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And that's a principle that I have had guiding me a lot, because we as humans have got this whole thing of we want instant gratification. And I think now with the push in technology where everything is available because of a click of a button or an app, you can get something in 10 minutes, in 5 seconds, and this and the other. We anticipate that a lot of things should just happen instantaneously. And then we get disappointed when they do not. But not that it's not supposed to happen, it's just not the right time. So because of that, I've learned to manage my expectations for certain things, especially the things that really matter a lot to me. And I practice pause. Not to say that at the time when I want it, I'm still not feeling a bit anxious, but I practice pause, because in that moment of pause, I'm reassessing what I have done in anticipation of what's to come. Have I fully put in the foundations that will ensure that if I'm working towards something that I've prayed for, and it's towards growth, it's towards impact, have I got the foundation that when the growth comes, the base can actually take whatever the new weight is going to be? If it is for impact, those that are to receive it, are they ready to receive it? And all of those various things. It may not be able to happen in an instant, but when the Lord says that it will happen, it will happen. And when it does happen, you also have to be prepared.
Yeah, very true. I think, someone has to be a human first. I think the biggest religion, I think it's humanity, which we sometimes forget, to be kind, to be a human. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for sharing. The podcast is called, Let Me Be. So what does that phrase mean to you in your personal or professional life?
In my personal life, first, let me start with that, if you'll allow me. I think as I have matured in life, I have seen that I am probably a different style of leadership to what a lot of people are accustomed to. I still smile. I still want to interact with maybe even down to my junior level staff, and be quite involved in that. There's not too many layers in terms of access to me for those that work with me. The reason is I still found the benefit of that one person who was mentoring and guiding me. And I think even that in its own self, if I can also do that for others, it will be really great. But because I mentioned before, I still love what I do and I'm passionate about what I do. I still have joy waking up every single morning. And I'm like, thank God I can do this. It's not I have to do this. It's thank God I can do this. So I'm still smiling talking to you, because truly having an opportunity to talk about this, not talk about me, but talk about what it is that I do and how I get around to doing it every single day, it brings me joy. And that has been me from when I was young. I've always been a person who has been naturally curious and positive, and a person who likes to build others as well. So I haven't changed over the years. So let me be me and authentic in that presentation. In that who you see and what you hear is literally what you get. If I don't want to be somewhere, I'm not going to be there. If I don't want to say anything, you cannot force me. But if I'm there, I'm so present, and I'll be happily present. In my work, let me be, I think it was something that I learned, which was, again, going back to the lady who inspired me to actually take a step out. Beforehand, when I had that fear and consciousness of I am stepping out of a role where I am an employee and I'm stepping into a leadership role, I had a lot of fears that maybe I wasn't going to be good enough and I wasn't going to do it right. all of those things that may come up when I'm stepping out. And I tried to do it in a manner that I had seen other people that I looked up towards. And I thought that because they did it so well, that's who I could be. But because it wasn't authentic to me, there was such a mismatch. And I had to go back to accepting myself, who I am and how I do things, and my personality, my character, and embracing that into my work has sort of helped me, helped me be who I am and continue to do what I do the way that I do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of learning for me. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So the next question is, if someone from abroad wanted to invest in Zimbabwe, what would you tell them about the potential of your country?
Oh, wow. So of course it's very good to always have interest in Zimbabwe. I'm one person who's like, yay, anybody who's coming into Zimbabwe, because this nation is absolutely amazing. It's amazing for so many reasons. We are rich in culture. We are rich in so many opportunities. And I think even right now is probably one of the better times to come in and invest, because the nation in its own self is at that point where, like when you're just at the precipice and you sort of like, things are just rightly aligned for so many development angles and aspects. So first of all, I need to understand whoever is coming into Zimbabwe and engaging myself at Fine and Country to say, what is it that you're looking to do? Are you coming in as an investor, or are you coming in as a private individual who's looking for another home, another place for them to just chill and go out into the world? And in that aspect, that will shape where it is that I might advise. So if you're coming in as an investor, what are you looking at? Are you looking into mining? Are you looking into agriculture? Are you looking into energy? Are you looking into retail? Are you looking into commercial? All of those aspects are areas that we do also cater and cover for within our business. And especially for those who are coming into construction and energy at this present moment, it is just phenomenal and so vibrant. So of course, it will be a matter of making sure that you come in for a tour, have an understanding of what's happening in all of the vibrant cities. So your Harare, your Bulawayo, those are the two major cities. But I'd also then take you guys out to our lesser known cities, but areas where new development is probably coming in and it's the right opportunity, where growth is really set to rise. For an individual who's coming in just to say, oh, you know what, I need another place, we have got beautiful places. We have got a place where I say it's heaven's kiss. That's the Eastern Highlands. Beautiful mountains, evergreen, cool air, fresh. We get our teas, our coffees, and all our preserves and pitted fruits down that side. Lots of waterfalls that are naturally occurring, and it looks like Scotland actually, if you really think about it, or even New Zealand. And then you go through to Kariba, which is a bit more arid, and that's got also Binga. So we've got a man-made lake, which is one of the largest man-made lakes in the world, which is something that's also very phenomenal to be. But a lot of Zimbabwe is national park, so you will still get to see your elephant, your lion, your wild animals within their own territory. They're not gated, they're not in zoos, they're in their territory, and you as a human are actually creating your own residence within their habitat. Take you through to the cities, of course, to see if you want the city life, and then maybe you want to have your Airbnbs running. Or you just want a place where you can come in for business. Victoria Falls is out there, and there's so much again for people to really look at. And there's so many areas in Zimbabwe which are still untouched and natural. And if you want to consider a lifestyle where it's a bit more sedentary, maybe you want to have a little plot and run your own agro processing and a little farm, again, I'm your girl.
Thank you so much. I think my next trip is going to be Zimbabwe for sure. The way you've presented about your country, it is amazing. Amazing to know that. I know very little about Zimbabwe, but the way you're presenting it looks like it is really a wonderful. It is going to be a good trip for me to be So the next
You're
question.
welcome, Lalit.
So the next would be, since India and Zimbabwe, we share a long history of cooperation in education, trade, healthcare, and development. Where do you see the opportunities for stronger collaboration, between India and Zimbabwe? It's in real estate, it's in technology, it's in agriculture, or it's in skill development.
Well, I mean, the four that you have mentioned already are very critical pillars for any economy, I think. And I really like how you have brought the fact that we do have a very long history with India. And I think also we've got similar ways in terms of how over the years we've also been developing in our own spaces. But yes, definitely in real estate, I think that's one very key area. And of course, it's an area that I'm operating within. One big area that I still see that sort of links in quite well is education and healthcare. And I've seen people who have benefited from that. Right now, I think we have got a lot of Indian hospitals that are coming through with offices here, whereby Zimbabweans are actually flying out to India to get really great world-class healthcare, a lot more affordable than anywhere else in the world. And their testimonies or they're testifying about just how great everything has been and what they've gone through. And I think it would be great if we also had that kind of exchange, whether it would be that we have more hospitals that come through and they are trained doctors and that kind of facilities on this end as well, similarly, to work with that, because I think medical tourism is also on the up globally. Many nations are benefiting from that. And in what I would say in that Zimbabwe would be a very, very great location for that is we have got the most amazing temperatures or good weather conditions, where even in our winters, probably our winters are not as cold as they are anywhere else in the world, but our summers are so elongated and the weather is absolutely pristine and ideal for a lot of people who will be recuperating. And because of the fact that we're still existing in an area where we have numerous trees and greenery and all of that, like nature, I think is also one of the world's greatest bits of medicine. So for people who want to recuperate faster, this is probably the most ideal. Development is still ongoing, but at this particular point, we haven't caught up to the place where we're a concrete jungle. So people have that opportunity to slow down and have their bodies take that opportunity to recuperate.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question would be, when are you planning to visit to India?
When do you want to invite me through, Lalit? I could have been there, I think before. I've got a friend of mine who got married about a year ago, and unfortunately, I had a work commitment that I could not get out of. But I would love to actually come through and see India for myself. I would love to go see the Taj Mahal. I would love to come through. I don't know. Are you pretty close to where it is, or how far are you?
Yeah. I am based out in New Delhi, which is the capital of India. So anyway, if you want to go to Taj Mahal, you have to land it to New Delhi only. That's the nearest airport. So.
Oh, really? Okay, so there we go. So you can take me through to Taj Mahal. I'd love to go through and see all of this because, I've just read about quite a lot of things in books, and, we've grown up knowing the history of it, and, what a beautiful romantic story it is. And, so
yeah,
I definitely get to see it for myself.
Yeah. So the next question would be, if you could speak to your younger self today, what advice would you give it to her? The younger Karen.
Phew. Oh my goodness, that just gave me goosebumps. I was not expecting that question, Lalit. Wow. The younger self. My younger self. Oh my goodness, that actually is quite a complex question. My younger self. I think I would thank her right now for being patient with me and not running away from me, in a sense, because I think my youthful joy and my youthful curiosity, even to this day, I mean, I'm 44 years of age today, And I have tendencies of probably being very juvenile in certain aspects. I will laugh out of character in certain areas because I still allow myself to have that inner child. So I would really thank my younger self for being patient with me when I went through growth, because I think as a teenager, a lot of things could have definitely changed how I would have been today. And experiences obviously definitely would have changed that. But my younger self remained very strong, and I would love to thank her for being that strong. I would love to thank her for being open to learning. I'd love to thank her for being open to that curiosity and not necessarily being obedient, but being able to acclimatize to certain situations, and being able to just really fully live life, and take each day as it comes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And finally, if people would like to connect with you, maybe from your work, or maybe learn more about fine and country Zimbabwe, so where can they reach out to you?
So I've got all of the normal social media handles. I'm on LinkedIn with my name, Karen Nyenga. I'm also on Facebook, exactly the same, and on Instagram. People can email me directly if they would want to get in touch for work-related purposes. Zimbabwe@fineandcountry.com. That comes straight through, and we'll be able to discuss whatever opportunities are there. And then once we get into communication, we'll be able to get other contacts, so that at least it's a bit more swift. But that is definitely where to start. Follow me on any of my social media handles, and connect with me there.
Yeah, last question. So apart from coming to India, what is something you've always wanted to try, personally or professionally, but haven't yet?
What is something that I've always... Okay. So even though I'm saying that I've always wanted to try, doesn't mean that I'm going to do it. I'd love to jump out of a plane.
Oh, okay.
I've got a friend who is such a daredevil. She is just amazing, and she's done it a few times. And when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that looks like so much fun. But when I think about it, I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm not as brave. But I would love to do it just for the experience, because I've bungee jumped before. I mean, I was a lot younger. I was 18 years at that time. Not that it's the same, because this time I will not have anything to tie me up onto, to the plane. But I would love to see and just to experience that as safely as possible. Just that free fall. Just not having anything holding you down or holding you back. And maybe that might get me to the next level.
Yeah. So thank you, Karen. Thank you for sharing your story, your strength, your vision with us today. Amazing. A lot of learning for me. Your passion for Zimbabwe, for real estate, for raising standards is truly inspiring to our listeners. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Let Me Be. Remember, the world needs authenticity, your voice and your courage. Until next time, stay real, inspired, and let yourself be.
Thank you. Thanks so much.